pick up. One grudge is not unheard of.
So there you have the players on your screen. Shahar, Shenhar on the left of your screen. Dustin Ochoa on the right. Shahar, as we said, playing blue-white Delver. And he has a Singleton Divine Offering, Legends, in his main deck. And it looks like his deck list is very difficult to read. Yeah. He looks like he has a very bad pen, and we didn't photocopy it terribly well, but it looks like he has one Gataxian Probe, 3 Thought Scour, so he is mostly of the Yuya school, but not quite all the way there.
Looks like Shenhar is sending his 7 back. So, what are your thoughts on a 1 Probe, 3 Thought Scour split?
I actually think Probe is just super good in a lot of matchups.
Yes.
I can see in a world where there are a ton of aggressive decks, like opposing Delver decks, Probe can, the life loss can be very important. But at the same time, the information is so huge. Like the fact that you can set up your turns knowing exactly what your opponent has access to can give you the ability to make plays that would be very dangerous to make without that information. Like your opponent doesn't have a sweeper, you can just play out 2 dudes or whatever.
Yeah.
Your opponent doesn't have a artifact removal, you can play out a sword without having to necessarily be able to hit the turn with them tapped out or anything. So it's hard to argue with the success that people have had with the Thought Scour version, but Gataxian Probe is super, super good. And here Shahar draws a single copy on turn 1.
Reveals a hand of Crag, 2 Galvanic Blast, a Sphere, a Rampant Growth, and a Red Sun Zenith.
That's a pretty good hand against the Delver deck.
Well, it depends. It's
a good hand against everything but Geist.
Yeah, it is quite soft to Geist's Chain Trap.
So Shahar...
And we actually saw Shenhar take down a red-green deck in the first game of his match that was sitting on multiple targeted kill spells and just lost to Geist's Chain Trap.
And it looks like I don't see a Geist in Shahar's hand. He's going to play a Ponder. Going to dig for 1. Almost certainly going to shuffle that away.
Yep.
Gut shot.
No, does not want a gut shot.
That's one of the things with Ponder. A lot of times people will ponder and see like a card they want, and they're like, "Oh, I want this card. I'll take it with the Ponder." But like often will leave themselves with cards that they don't want. And having access to a single card that you do want right now, but being guaranteed that you're going to draw 2 cards that you don't really want, it can be much more costly. So gets an island off of it instead, and looks like Dustin drew, I believe, a Beast Within, and he's going to Rampant Growth.
And Shenhar's hand is very, very land heavy. He has a snag and at least 4 more lands, possibly a 5th. He just drew, I believe that is Dungeon Geist.
Yep.
Getting better as time goes on. Identifying the differences in artwork.
So, Shahar, did Shahar have a play this turn?
I don't think so.
It looks like he has a Vapor Snag, a Dungeon Geist, and
lands. Yep.
That is it, yes. Dustin didn't really have much in the way of action himself.
Yeah, he had a bunch of reactive cards. Not much. Not much to do with them.
He can kill a lot, but Shahar has nothing for him to kill. That is a gut shot, so Shahar just drew another blank, essentially. And Dustin just ramping up his mana. Draws a Primeval Titan, and I believe just says go.
Another gut shot he just drew? He has 2 gut shots, a Vapor Snag, and
there's another Titan. So we have 5 land, a bunch of removal spells, and a bunch of Titans versus a bunch of land.
Another Galvanic Blast.
And another land for Shahar. At least this is proceeding quickly, even though there's nothing happening. Both players are.
There's a Slide Storm. He might just have to fire off a Galvanic Blast here.
Nug ya.
Looks like he's debating between Galvanic Blast and Red Zenith thing for 4 or something.
Zenith for 3.
Oh, Zenith 3.
Sure.
Just doesn't want to use his sphere here.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. He's up. He's got to go back in. So yeah, I think I agree with that. Like the Red Zenith is pretty weak in this matchup in general. He'd rather have instant speed, removal spell, and he's certainly, given that he's land light and has a bunch of Titans, doesn't want to use a counter off that sphere. So Shahar has an invisible stalker for some sort of threat. Finally, even if he drew a pike, it wouldn't even be that big.
Yeah,
because that's all land.
No, you just fire off your gut shots.
Yeah, I mean
Yep.
I don't know if you know this, but it's possible for a ramp deck to burn out a Delver deck, though. It's happened.
There's a Divine Offering, which is awesome.
That's actually awesome.
Stalker in.
Gives him some life, too.
Pretty sweet.
What's going on now?
He's going to Beast Within.
Oh, he's going to Beast Within it. I don't know if I like that. It's reasonable.
Presumably this will induce the snag.
Yeah. Well, or
maybe
just Dungeon Geist.
Yeah, which is actually pretty awesome for Ochoa because he has Slag Storm in hand. So
yeah. Or can just cast an Inferno Titan if he doesn't land.
Yeah. A lot of ways that this can go very well for Ochoa.
Yep. And we see another Goblin Lord up the top.
Perfect. I assume we'll see a Slag Storm here, I would guess.
What?
Oh no, he's going to use 2 Galvanic Blasts.
Okay.
So yeah.
Snags it.
He's going to use his 3rd Galvanic Blast.
Sure.
Okay.
And
a Snapcaster made.
Don't really have anything good to Snapcaster. We can Snapcaster Ponder here. Did he just tap? Yeah, okay. I say he just tapped too much mana. So Snapcaster for Ponder. And we see Mana Leak, which is crucial.
Dungeon Geist and Thought Scour. So pretty close to a perfect Ponder here.
Keep that on top. And he has one more land, so he's going to do Moorland Haunt.
And leak. That leak was a critical
The leak
draw.
is crucial. I'm not sure if I like attacking there. Put Shahar to 12, but...
Why, just because of the gut shot?
Well, no, because the Snapcaster is going to attack back.
Oh, sure.
Like I just don't know that attacking there is really particularly profitable. You're the one whose life total matters much more. In a long game, the ramp deck is the one that's going to win basically. He's putting himself, just taking 2 damage here. He's putting himself close in range to something like just like a
at the minimum,
pike on the Stalker.
Yeah, at the minimum, you can at least cast your Titan before combat to see if it resolves, and then proceed from there with the information.
And Shahar, I'm guessing, is going to play this Dungeon Geist. Lock that down.
Yeah, unfortunately now he's
getting
completely exposed to Inferno Titan.
Yeah, getting tightened. Though he does have 4 mana up, and Dusty may want to play around Mana Leak.
He might not have that much.
He could have Snapcaster too. He's seen the one Snapcaster,
but he doesn't have a really attractive alternative.
If he played Slag Storm, yeah, I think Slag Storm's a reasonable play there.
Yeah.
So that spirit dies, but it's coming back. And into his Thought Scour. He's going to Thought Scour himself. Oh, exactly the card he wanted to draw was right
Actually,
on top.
two cards he would really want to draw.
Well, the best card for him right now is Pike, because Pike gives him...
Pike plus Haunt means
Pike,
even
Pike
if
plus
Inferno
Haunt,
Titan doesn't
exactly.
get him
He
out.
just gets to keep hitting for damage. So, Dusty plays a Nexus, and he has Inferno Titan in his hand.
Yeah, he has Solemn too. So he's just weighing like playing around Leak by casting Solemn versus just casting.
I think you just want to cast Solemn here. You're not under much pressure. You're at 13 life. If Shahar had something like a Pike, he would have played it. So unless he draws Pike, and even if he draws Pike, you have a Ink Moth that you can potentially trade off. Or rather, chump block with. So, yeah, Solemn. And he gets a search. So that puts Dusty up to
8 mana.
So if he has one more, he can play around Mana Leak. We know that Shahar doesn't have it, but he doesn't.
He gets into a nice spot next turn where basically a land or a spell both are good draws.
And there is exactly that Pike. Well, I believe Dusty still has... No, he doesn't have a Galv Blast yet because he used 3 Galv Blasts before. So that Pike's pretty scary. And the fact that Shahar has both those gut shots there.
Also pretty awesome too, because he's going to be compelled to block.
How many spells are in Shahar's yard?
Thought Scour, a Leak, a Probe.
Oh, Beast Within. Oh, he had another Beast Within. Okay, I didn't see that one in his hand.
That was the last card.
No, he has. Yeah, other than
besides the Inferno Titan we know about. Yeah.
All right, so Dusty takes 2 damage, goes to 11 life.
Pretty good Beast Within right there.
Yeah, that was definitely a good Beast Within.
And now he's got to be pretty confident that there's no mana leak there, because otherwise he would have definitely leaked that.
Yeah, I think a leak would may have even been lethal there. So it's like, whatever, you don't have it. I'll just cast this Inferno Titan.
Presumably gun down the flyers and.
Yep. One.
He's good, so he can swing with Solemn.
Sure. Okay. All right. And then comes in. Yep.
Thought he would maybe want to hold back with Solemn on D in case there was a snag or something like that. So I was thinking he would
maybe
probably just go upstairs. But
well, there's a mana leak right in time.
Perfect.
If only we could have held him off one more turn. It's pretty remarkable, though, given the way that this game started out.
That Shenhar was actually
that he was actually potentially able to just win if Dusty had not had pretty much exactly Beast Within there. I mean, if he'd had like a Galv Blast,
he has a grudge.
He has a grudge in his deck. Yeah, a grudge would have been the best option for him, but.
Actually, I would argue Beast Within was better because once he casts Beast Within, he knows the coast is clear for his Inferno Titan.
Sure.
The way it works out is actually the information there is pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we're going to see an attack with Inferno Titan. Call me crazy.
So we're figuring out how we're going to split up this Inferno Titan. Assume we're just shooting the beast down? No, incorrect.
Where does this? Is the damage just going to the face, or
no? It went one to the beast, 1 to the token, and 1 to Shahar.
Okay. All right, so. Looks like Shahar's goose is cooked.
Yeah, that's.
Boom. And there it is. So, Inferno Titan attacks for the second time.
Yeah.
Often wins the game.
Yeah, rarely takes more than one. But.
Yeah. It's in fact not all that common that it even takes one.
Yep.
All right, so sideboard-wise, what do you think this looks like?
Well...
If only we could read Shahar's sideboard.
Yeah. A mystery lost to the sands of time. The 2 dissipates.
I was going to make a sands of time joke, like an untapped step joke, but
yeah.
it was
better just to sit on that
one. Yeah, no one would get it.
Right. The references have gotten more and more dated.
Yeah, it's true. So, looking at
2 dissipates and a dungeon guy seem like fine.
Sure. Dusty has
nothing
Thruns
yeah.
and Ancient Grudge.
Maybe the one Phantasmal Image if you're anticipating Thrun. But
yeah,
not a lot.
Dusty has Thrun, Grudges, is Surgical Extraction, which some people like in this sort of matchup. I don't. He does have Deck Designer Kibler, which amuses me. But
since this is not even close to your Pro Tour deck.
It's similar to it, I guess. But
yeah, I mean, there's only so much deviation you can have in the
right.
red-green accelerate into Fatty's archetype or whatever, but he has a lot of different selections.
Yeah. But we may see him bring in Surgical Extraction. I know that a lot of players like Surgical Extraction against Snapcaster decks, even though I'm not a huge fan of it, unless it's specifically attacking graveyard stuff.
Right, it's a little dodgy when the deck is actually taxing your life total to be
right
for actually managing for something which doesn't necessarily provide a ton of value.
Yeah, you need, as we were saying before, you need a very specific mix of mana sources and threats and answers in order for a ramp deck to function. Yeah. And when you take one of those cards out for a card like Surgical Extraction, it can be pretty problematic for you to actually sort of hit on all cylinders as you need to. But I would imagine he's bringing in 2 copies of Thrun. I would think probably 1 copy of Ancient Grudge. He has access to a total of 3 copies, but I don't think you want the full 3 copies against a deck that just has pikes.
Yeah.
I used to like Ancient Grudge a lot when the standard Delver decks had Porcelain Legionnaire, but that's sort of fallen out of favor, and Grudge has become less powerful against them. So I would be shocked to really see anything else from his sideboard come in. The way that I would sideboard this, I'd probably take out some number of Red Sun Zenith, and some number of Primeval Titans for those.
So when you're playing the Delver deck, what do the circumstances have to be for you to cut all the equipment out of your deck? And I know that's always a question mark. I've seen other players have when they're playing against the red-green decks where Grudge is a possibility or Naturalize is a possibility.
Yeah, you have to be playing against a deck that your creatures can win on their own easily enough. It's pretty difficult to sideboard out your all your equipment against a deck like this because you're playing as a ramp deck that has a ton of ways to kill all your stuff, and you need for your individual threats that are actually connecting to connect hard. So if you're playing against say a deck like say my Nyapod deck, where after sideboarding you can just beat me with Dungeon Geist. Yeah. Just the card Dungeon Geist is powerful enough to lock down my biggest threats and kill me.
Yeah, Phantom Monster is not bad against your...
Right, exactly. So there is a situation where I think it's reasonable to take out your equipment. Anyway, I can see, if you know for a fact that your opponent's bringing in, say again against a red green deck, like you were saying, if your opponent's bringing in a bunch of grudges, and similarly there, Dungeon Geist is really good. You have ways that you're actually able to interact with them and kill them, that you're not relying on getting in these big individual hits.
What do you think with the ramp decks, because they are capable of just sweeping up your guys so consistently?
I think you really need to connect with equipment in order to beat ramp decks. We saw that game. Shahar, Dusty didn't have a Titan for forever.
Yep.
He all he did was sort of trade off 1-for-1 with a bunch of Shahar's threats. Granted, Shahar was pretty seriously mana flooded. But it was really the threat of that pike that possibly got him back into that game. And if both of them had more similar sort of quality draws, I think Shahar still really wants to have that pike in order to close out those games.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're off for game 2.
So that's a turn 1 Ponder.
Yep.
Shows a hand of 2 leaks, a snag, and some lands. And he's going to shuffle.
We were saying, don't see all that many shuffles off of Ponder, but Shahar shuffled quite a lot. Hasn't had some great ones. It's interesting to see...
Draws a Dissipate.
It's interesting to see Snag still in his deck. Snag's a card that you rarely want to have at least in significant numbers against ramp, because this doesn't do very much.
Snagging one of their 6s is not a recipe for success.
Not really where you want to be. I suppose he did see the Beast Within. Maybe that's provides some sort of incentive. And Mana Leak on that Sphere, when Dusty only has 2 red sources...
Yeah, there's a...
It's definitely much more compelling.
Yeah. The idea that Ochoa could just be color screwed definitely influences whether or not... Yep, and he just has a Nexus and a Pass, which is definitely...
Yep, so...
signaling.
Thought Scours away, Geist and Island, draws Glacial Fortress. I believe he just drew...
A Snapcaster.
That's a Snapcaster, yep. And Dusty draws a Titan. And he is mono red. So now, Shahar makes a guy, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he's
just... he's going to
snap.
Oh, he's going to snap Scour.
Just get a little clock going.
He has enough threats, or rather mana leaks in his hand and stuff, that he just wants to get a significant clock.
Especially when you have Moorland Haunt. Definitely makes it way more attractive to just want to scour yourself again, so you have
absolutely
a ton of gas to work with.
You can assemble, Voltron of getting all your dudes out. So he's gonna Ponder,
Image Island,
and I believe that's a Dissipate. No, that's a Vapor Snag. Image Island, Vapor Snag. So I'd probably ship that back.
I think it looks like he's going to keep.
Yeah, he does seem to be debating that. Oh, all right, maybe he wants to snag his own Snapcaster.
Also, making another land drop is really nice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are likely to make a land drop in another mountain.
So the Dungeon Geist goes farming, or at least as it used to be called.
To the nether regions. I don't know. You gotta call it converting into a spirit.
He goes to become Casper.
Yes.
He's already a Geist though.
Yeah. Shenhar's like really in the driver's seat. A good clock and a handful of counter spells.
Yeah. Dusty draws yet another Titan, it looks like.
Is that a Red Zenith maybe? Or Grudge or... I don't know.
I thought
Probably not something... Oh,
Slagstorm. Okay. Just mana leak that. And...
Still sitting on a hand with just a ton of action.
Yep. 4-turn clock now. Draws that Image. Sends for 4, puts Ochoa to 11. Copies Snapcaster, I'm guessing?
I would presume.
This changes his clock to 2 turns. Whoa, he's pondering.
Yeah.
Okay. For a second I thought he was hitting a Thought Scour, and I was like, oh, these are all going someplace that they shouldn't. So I think... Yeah. The order of those... You get a Ponder here? I think he should just say go. Yeah, he wants to keep the Dissipate
no reason
up. Right. You want to keep the Dissipate up here.
Because if he played a land, he
could Slagstorm, right. Instead of the Slagstorm, which is going to get mana leaked. So, ooh. Whips the Flare. So
he's going to snag his Snapcaster?
Yeah, save a Snapcaster. And then Shahar can play Geist with Dissipate still up.
I don't think. I think. Oh no, he did.
Yeah, he did put Geist
I didn't
there.
know where he set.
Yeah, he put
Geist
Ponder Geist Pike, which gives him access to Pike next turn if he wants it, because he can Ponder for it. So Dusty's still without green mana.
or spells that
Yeah.
would matter even if you could cast them.
So, just trying to think of what. Yeah, just attack.
Yeah, he doesn't want to run into some sort of ancient grudge here by hiking and then getting exposed to another sweeper spell.
He definitely wants to keep the dissipate up.
It's hard for things to go too terribly wrong here as long as you keep your dissipate up.
Yep. When you can't cast any spells and you're chumping with Nexus, you know you're in some trouble. All right.
Again, probably just say go. I feel like you. Okay, you can ponder, I suppose.
Ponder finds him.
Delver, Geist, land.
None of those cards really matter.
Right.
I'd probably just shuffle. Oh, nope, he's going to draw a Delver.
There's one of his cool checklist cards.
Yeah.
And a Rampant Growth.
A Rampant Growth.
For the final Rubbins.
Not going to do it. And Dusty is in the tank about something?
Yeah, dead as a blank.
And there's no combination of cards you can really have that would him the game here.
All right.
All right, here you go.
So on to game 3.
Game 3, yes.
What was your Forest Mountain split like when you were playing this deck in at the Pro Tour?
We had more forest than we had mountains, I think.
Right, because I suppose the tension is like you need green mana to function, but you want to have a mountain on turn 1 to Galvanic Blast is sort of the decision you're weighing. You don't remember?
No.
That is surprising. I would have assumed you could have rattled off that 75.
My memory's a lot worse than it used to be. Let me see. I think it was 6-5 is my guess.
6 Forest?
6 Forest, I think. I'm gonna look it up right now.
So Cho doing a little bit of sideboarding here. How do you think is there any way you want his deck configured differently, being on the play versus on the draw?
No, I'm wrong. It was 5-6 the other way. He actually, I think, has the exact mana base we played.
So when you critiqued him for having too many mountains.
Huh? I didn't critique him.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had I thought you just said you had too many mountains in his list.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
I just said I thought we had more
oh,
forest
okay.
mountains.
All right.
But I was incorrect in my remembrance. But he has no Green Sun Zenith.
And I was like, finally, get a quick guy.
And yeah, no Thrun Main. He has Red Sun Zenith Beast Within.
So, how important is it? Like the Zenith for Thrun, never.
There's no bird in his deck.
Yeah, I never quite understood that. Like I could see each of those cards being good, just on their own and worth playing or whatever. But most of the decks where you want to go get a Thrun, they're going to be able to just counter your Zenith.
Yeah, part of it is that we wanted a certain number of Thruns between main and sideboard, and in game 1, the ability to Zenith for Thrun in situations when you actually are able to resolve your Zenith was a big deal. It's not that you specifically your plan is Zenith for Thrun and like that's awesome. It's that you want the Thrun because it's able to brick wall things on the ground and get around removal rather than counter magic. So against like Delver decks, particularly Delver decks at that point, which were very heavy on Porcelain Legionnaires and Geists, you really want to be able to have Thrun in them.
So back to the action here. Ochoa leads off with a turn 1 bird, which is meant.
This is actually interesting because he did not have bird in his main deck. And he has 2 birds in his sideboard, and he apparently boarded these birds in, which is peculiar because I think in general bird is worse after sideboarding when you have a bunch of against the deck that you have a bunch of like wrath effects against, a bunch of board sweepers.
It's possible that he just
wants it on the play.
He feels like maybe the liability is them getting gut shotted when that card's really bad against you otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, Shahar has a bit of a slow start. And Dusty is able to play something on 3 here that's going to be good. Resolving any forecast thing is... Yeah!
A good
my boy!
an honest man doing an honest day's work.
Yeah, he just goes out hunting, man.
Yeah.
He's got to provide for his family.
Yeah.
It's not like, experimenting, turning, himself into an insect or anything. That's crazy, man.
He has a buddy, and he wants to just go to work.
He's just a guy with his dog.
Yep. Relatable. Something we can relate to.
So Ponder from Shahar reveals, I think that's Thought Scour, Snapcaster,
and a Moorland Haunt.
So, So Shahar's already in a rough spot here because he's behind on the board and he's facing down Huntmaster, which is going to demand action constantly. Because if he doesn't cast a spell, that Huntmaster will flip. If he does cast a spell, he'll often end up tapping mana that he can't really afford to tap and face a Titan. So there's a Delver.
So he's just sort of throwing this guy into the possibly just throwing this guy into the ether, right? Like,
well, if Shahar does Shahar have a snag? Yeah, he has a snag in his hand. So
yeah, but he has no blue mana up.
Right, but
he can just trigger. Sure.
The way that the transformation works is that during Shahar's upkeep, the ability will go in the stack, and the Huntmaster has to be in play for its ability to trigger when it resolves, or for the transformability. So yeah, he's gonna say go. Yeah, he's gonna snag it in response to the trigger. So the Huntmaster will return to Dusty's hand, and the Delver will stay alive. And reveals the Thought Scour. So Shahar is now, he took 4 damage and 1 poison that turn. So I believe he's at 16 and 1 poison. He has just that Delver right now. Looks like his hand is Dungeon Geist.
Paper Snag, 2 pikes.
2 pikes.
And a Scour.
So those pikes are potentially dangerous. Dusty has a Galvanic Blast here. He seems to be debating whether he wants to use it. I think you just want to kill it here.
Yeah, I guess the issue is mana leak. Maybe he's willing to take the 3 and do it in a turn, depending on what Shenhar does with his turn.
Yeah, but if he mana leaks, you just cast Huntmaster in your turn.
The other incentive could just be, the fact that Shenhar's Moorland Haunts are off right now.
Right.
So if he's just, passes, he can get him to maybe time walk. But yeah, I agree. I think you just want to fire it off there. But.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed by that play. So Shahar just passes, and he's pretty much just bluffing mana leak here, and hoping Dusty doesn't cast that Huntmaster again. That's all the more reason that if Dusty isn't going to play his Huntmaster this turn, he really needed to Galv Blast because he's ahead in the board. Again, he has that Wolf who's hitting, and he has those Nexus that can hit. So if he Galv Blasted it this turn, and he can still Galv Blast it this turn and not get mana leak. That's also entirely possible. Looks like he's just going for
beatdowns.
Beatdowns.
Nope.
Well, we know that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Thrun in his hand. And yes, there is the last troll.
Quite good against.
There are no additional trolls.
Quite good against Shenhar's board as currently constructed.
Yep. So one thing that is worth noting, as far as holding the Galvblast is concerned, we know that Shahar has those 2 copies of Pike in his hand, and being able to kill a piked creature can potentially a bit down the road be more powerful than being able to Galvblast that thing immediately. And all right, he wants to Galvblast it now. He was, I guess, he was just playing around Mana Leak.
Right.
So
now that for sure the coast is clear there, he can go ahead and do it.
All right. And now, I think Shahar is going to Dungeon Geist him, or just play Pike and see what happens. But if he Dungeon Geist, he's just getting Hunt Mastered, and Thrun just gets past Dungeon Geist.
Right. It's not a good race.
Yeah, this is not looking the best for him.
Yeah.
Yep. Dungeon Geist locks down the wolf, but that's going to allow a new wolf to be born,
or possibly a 6.
Yeah. If
this
we
could be
see,
a 6.
Well, there's a land. Does he have a Titan?
I do not know. I'm sure we'll find out right about now.
I didn't see a Titan in his hand. Nope. All right, we're going hunting.
Yeah, nothing wrong with this.
Ow!
It's not really high on the enthusiasm.
Well, the real howling is when he flips.
Oh, okay.
That's just for the wolf coming into play. We seem to have... Did the wolf... Oh, there we go. We upgraded.
And instead of casting his bird, he wants to hold the Nexus back, I guess, as a blocker?
I'm guessing so.
It makes some sense as an efficiency standpoint, right? Because it's 2 mana this turn versus...
Well, it's also... That also makes the Huntmaster flip threaten to kill the Dungeon Geist at any point. But when the Wolf Run deck is the beatdown, you know that Elver deck is in trouble. So Shahar,
not a lot of good paths here.
Yep. All right, and that's gonna just be on D, I think. Ooh, it gets grudged. I believe you just said go. Yeah, I got that grudged. So Shahar is at 10 life. If Dusty just attacks with...
That's
is that a Titan?
Too,
all right. Yeah. He's just going to mop up here. He can just attack with everything. Oh, yeah. Only one gets to attack. So just attack with Thrun then.
Yep.
Just attack with Thrun and play Titan.
I mean, if he attacks with everything, he basically turns Thrun into the Abyss. So there's some incentive to just send everything.
Yeah, there is that. My inclination is that the threat... Oh, yeah, he is going for it.
Yep.
All right.
Well, I actually like this attack.
Sure,
now,
I think it's fine. He does have Primeval Titan that he's playing too, so like getting his life settled down.
It's hard for this to go too badly.
Right.
But with Shenhar having like no board,
he also, but the thing is, he's getting Wolf Run here, and Wolf Run Thrun is already just basically you're dead. Sure. So. So yeah, Shahar needs to both Phantasmal Image Thrun and kill Titan and kill a wolf.
And start attacking.
Yeah.
Somehow.
No, I'm just saying this turn.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about what he needs to do in this game. I'm saying this turn. That's what Shahar needs to do.
It's like...
He is, however, thoroughly randomizing Dusty's deck.
Yeah. We're in the spot where it's, this is my threshold for conceding. If you stash your deck, would you still lose? If so, then it's time to...
I don't know what he's digging for exactly. It's not Delver of Secrets, that's for sure. And there it is.
Hey, way to go, green creatures.
Huntmaster of the Fells takes down Delver of Secrets, as it should be.
Yeah.
Dusty Ochoa wins.
Only 4 times the mana.
two